Michael from the Car Club here again, and today I have the keys to one of the most recent acquisitions for the fleet, the Ferrari 458 Italia. Beautiful red. I think this is our fourth. We like them quite a bit. Classic Car Club would describe it as peak supercar. 560 horsepower, almost 400 foot-pounds of torque. That's all very boring. You could read about that somewhere else. Let's go take it for a ride and see why it fits perfectly into Classic Car Club fleet. Welcome inside the cabin of a 458 Italia Ferrari. Very nice place to be. I just like that it's really simple in here and roomy. What makes the 458 a great Classic Car Club car? A couple things, but first let's talk about just how it drives, because that's a big part of it. So we're on our test track here, West Side Highway, with no traffic. And I'll tell you, it's just beautiful to drive. A lot of times you're in these strung out supercars, you're feeling like you're bashed around and beat up. And in Ferraris prior to this, you also felt like that. The 360, 430, always felt to me very wooden. Suspension wasn't really made to soak it up, so to speak. But in this car, it does it beautifully. It's got maglev suspension in it. And even right now, the roads are it's a little bumpy over here, and I'm in race mode, but it's got a little button here, the suspension icon on it, which just softens up the dampers. And it allows you to feel everything without getting jarred around and having it shatter your spine, which is nice. Also, the seats are real comfortable. Everything about it's really comfortable. There's a lot going on, but not a lot going on. Most of it's on the wheel. Normally, I'm not too much of a fan of that. But again, this isn't about me. What I do like, though, is you can just focus on driving. I have my blinker indicators, on-off switches on the steering wheel. Suspension, like I said, little high beams. I don't have, there's no stalks. It's one of the few cars that has no directional stalks or anything. You can even work the windshield wipers. And this funky little thing we call the magneto switch. You can switch through your different suspension and performance profiles, or put it in like wet mode if it's raining to kind of cut the punch back a little bit. And the steering wheel's got a rev counter on it, which I'm a big fan of because it makes me feel like a fighter pilot. The steering is super crisp. I describe this thing as a bit telepathic, and by that I mean weaving through traffic here. I know I want to go over there. You just kind of think it, and smallest little input, and there you are. You're in the future pretty quickly. Where you wanted to be and where you thought it, you arrive. So that's quite nice. Tons of power, like I said earlier, 560 something horsepower. You know, it gets you there, and it gets you there really fast, really quickly, but I don't know, I think the 458 does it in a sophisticated way. It's not like pulling the pin on a hand grenade. If you roll the gas on, I got a car in front of me, so I can't, but if you roll the throttle, it accelerates like a missile, but it's not violent. However, if you chuck in the beans a bit, my God, it'll let you know that it is a fast car. So this is a 200 mile an hour plus machine. But what makes it a great Classic Car Club car is that I think a lot of people would agree with me that it is real, like, peak supercar. You know, the Ferraris before this, like I said, were maybe a little harsh, a little wooden. Great cars, but not something you'd want to drive for very long or frequently. But this one has all the right amount of compliance where it's beautiful to drive. It's not upsetting to your skeleton. The sounds are beautiful, but it's not droning on the highway. It's gorgeous to look at. I mean, just step back from this car, from the outside of it, and it's all these beautiful sweeping curves that the 430, the predecessor to this one, did not have. And it's just real elegance. In fact, I looked up why it's called the Italia. I just thought, like, of course, you know, I don't know, it's a Ferrari. Why do you have to call it the Italia? But the reason Ferrari did was to make sure that one took notice of the Italian design. And I don't think they really had to do that. You don't have to be reminded. Take a look at it. It's gorgeous. And then Ferraris after this, and supercars in general, just seem to keep on having more and more things bolted on them, and carbon this and that, and all this extra aero. And really, it's a road car. It's like an arms race, but there's no war. Like, you can't really use all of that on the road. It's not a race car. And this one just knows what it is. And it's beautiful. And it's fantastic. And I also think what makes a classic car club car a great fleet car is we like to have all the absurdities, the things that you really want to drive, but maybe not own. And there's been genuinely hundreds of examples over the last 20 years at the car club. Like AC Shelby Cobra is beautiful. I mean, yes, we all want to own one, but how often do you want to drive that? You just want to have this experience on this ludicrous machine and then move on to the next ludicrous machine. This one, though, this is a really great car to own, but I think it fits into the fleet because it does so many of these things really well. It's not a classic yet in age, but it is an instant classic. It's the last naturally aspirated mid-engine V8 Ferrari. That means a lot to people. It either does or it doesn't. I think that makes it quite special, though. It's the end of an era, but still hyper modern. Another reason why this is a great car for the fleet is the way that it drives. It's a little different than everything else, except for other earlier Ferraris. So you might have seen Bob and I walk you through the fleet's 328 Ferraris. So that's 40 years old, 30 years old, something like that. And what we said was, the gears were so long and it revs so high that each gear you're in felt purposeful, like you could use it and run it out like I am right now. This car's got 3 times the horsepower and 2 more gears, but it has the same characteristic. Just going through these corners, it drives nice and flat, and I'm in 4th gear and I'm doing, 65 miles an hour. I could probably run this gear to 130 and just let it roll. Much like the 328. It's really cool to see the lineage of a car progress and be able to drive the cars in the fleet to see what was it like 30 years ago, what was it like 20 years ago, what is it like today, and how have they improved on the personality of the automobile. And so, again, a really cool reason to have this car is that we could drive 328. We've had them all, 308, 328, 348, terrible, 355, twitchy, but great, 360, future classic, modern classic, 430, good in its own way, but this is much better. And then go to an F8 and therefore after this and see what those are like too. Informed opinions are the best opinions. Also, all supercars should have a little bit of cool bespoke tech to them. The 458 is no different. 2 little things I like about it is in the front air intakes there's like these little aero veins. They look like Dolly's mustache. At different speeds, they change shape a bit and change angle, so they're active. There's not servos and computers doing it, it's just wind power doing it. But it just helps deflect the air differently and affect the downforce, suck you into the ground, which is quite cool. Another thing that I like is when you're in a car that is this fast and will get to astonishing speeds quite quickly, it's one thing to go fast, but man, you got to be able to slow it down quick enough. This car deploys this little bit of trickle-down Formula One technology where once the driver lets off the throttle, you don't have to touch the brakes, but it'll instantly pull the calipers right up to the discs, just to help you get on the brakes a little bit quicker. Now, it's a millimeter kind of a measurement there, and this has huge carbon brakes, so the stopping power is immense. But, when you overstep your limit and the car gets away from you and the concrete barrier is hurtling towards you, I'll take any nanosecond of slowing and assistance that I could get. I'm no hero, so I think that's really cool. And it's one of those things you would never know about driving it, but it's there in the back pocket. It's not ostentatious technology for the sake of it. It's quite purposeful, and I think that's cool. Also, the gearbox is great. It's so near seamless, shifting not only up, which is an easier thing to do, but a downshift. You could do it with no brakes. Just roll off the throttle, let it go, and it instantly downshifts. There's no stutter to it. It doesn't upset the car very much. It just helps it to hunker down, and this engine produces so much engine braking that it just slows you so much just like that. And so you feel a bit racy in here. If everything feels purpose-built and specific. I'm gonna get myself pulled over. So this brings us to the final part of most of these videos. Where would you drive a 458 Italia Ferrari if you picked it up from the car club? And usually I'm kind of vague about this. Oh, you know, find some bendy roads. I'm a bit atmospheric. With this car, I have a very specific one, which is grab an overnight bag, pick it up on a Thursday night or a Friday, drive to the Adirondacks, drive to Lake Placid, and drive this there. And I say that because the roads in the Adirondacks are, first of all, so well maintained. And they're long, wide open. They have undulating altitude to them. And the corners and everything is just bigger. And I think this car needs big roads like that. Big, you know, 5th, 6th gear bending corners sweeping through the topography, because man, this car wants to eat. And I just think having this in the Adirondacks, which by the way is beautiful. The roads have rivers next to them and huge pine trees and all that stuff. And so you have to match the car with an as beautiful atmosphere, which is difficult. The Adirondacks will do that. And then side effect is, man, the sound of this thing bellowing through the mountains would be absolutely unreal. So I recommend that. And don't go too posh. You're in a Ferrari, so you gotta smile it a bit. Stay at a motel. There's really nice motels up there now. It's a bunch of different groups that bought old motels and brought them back up to speed. So there's one called the Townhouse. Stay at the Townhouse. Stay on the ground floor, because you know every motel has that big window with the curtains. So wake up early in the morning, open up your curtains, and there's your red 458. And then go have a savage drive through the mountains, and then have coffee, and then go do it again. So that's a few minutes in the 458 Italia Ferrari. Thanks for sticking through it if you're still here. It's a spectacular bit of kit, and it's here at the club if you're interested. I want to close this out with a little bit of pro tip. I see a lot of people trying to get in and out of supercars, especially when you're getting older like I am, and it always looks bad. You got this beautiful thing, and then you're like creaking in and out of it. There's a small little tip. This works for pretty much every low sports car. When you get to it, it's all in the butt and heel. So you just gotta you gotta give it a quick little twist. See? Little twist. Watch my little twist. Whoop, on the toe. Now your heel's facing the car. And then you can just ease right in. See that? It's all in the ankle. And then to get out, man, don't grab everything. Just grab the wheel. Just power yourself out.